Hey, this is Tom, and I'm doing an after-the-fact repair video, and I probably should have done it originally, but it was one of those things. This one, somebody had this Browning 71 Winchester copy, and I saw it in the shop, and it had a split right here, going all the way to about there. It went that far down. It turns out somebody must have dropped it out of the box, and it hit the toe of the stock, and well, that was it. It became a disaster. This toe was bent. I took that and I reforged it into shape, so I got it pretty straight. It's not too beaten up, which is good. And then I went in and I did this. Well, let's get that visual. There we go. And you can see where I had to, the wood got crushed in here, so I had to fill it in a little bit. I didn't want to take any more off the butt. But the main thing I made the video for is it was the way I ended up fixing this so it wouldn't happen again. Now, as you can guess, one of the first things is I had to get an epoxy into there, and I ended up using these 3 ml syringes. I use standard Acroglass, the stuff that's got the really low viscosity, and these are also perfect for measuring that, because the 3 mLs you can draw it right up. So I would do 1 or 2 of the hardener, and then whatever it is, 4 times the amount of the epoxy itself. And I warmed the stock up probably to about 120 degrees. I put it on a radiator, and then this piece widened it up, and it turns out the split was right down the original screw hole. I loaded it up with another syringe until the epoxy was coming out down here. It actually worked out really well. And then last but not least, I hit it with the Magical Quick Grip that did a great job, and this was so aligned that it ended up being a perfect match. But then my next concern was, well, what's going to keep this from splitting in a similar place again? Even though it may or may not, and then it never cracks in the same place, but it could crack someplace similar. So I solved the problem with staples. I've been using these for a while, and effectively what my staple is it's one of these flooring nails. I'll take it, I'll file them so they're true, and then I'll figure out exactly how wide I need this to be. And if you look there, you can see I inletted, let's get that right. I inletted, come on, almost. Yeah, it's getting close. I inletted 2 of, there we go. I inletted 2 of them under the level of the wood. This was, and by the way, I did these in 2 separate steps. This one, when I clamped it, that was the first, and then I let that dry for days. Then I drilled some holes around the outside. I put them in place. I put 2 of them in. As you can see, I recessed them both in, and then I covered them with epoxy again. And now at this point, the butt plate goes on really cleanly, and the epoxy, for the most part, isn't even supporting the end at any point, because surprisingly, when this got crushed, that crushed below the level of the outside wood, so it really is pretty true. And I have to give Browning some props on this one. Their screws are the hardest screws I have ever used, and you almost couldn't take the finish off them. These things are fantastic. I got to find more like this. Now, since we're on the topic of the whole staple thing, the first place I ended up using staples, and this will be almost the end of the video, was this. Every once in a while you get a split through the web on the stock, because stocks stretch here if you've got a cartridge that recoils enough. And you'll get guns like Remington's where they'll put a pin, just like this one, right through there, and these really work well. But what do you do on the ones that don't? And you don't want to show it on the outside. I had a Mannlicher Schoenauer came in, and I just made one of these, except I made it much wider. And you can guess what I did. I came in from the front, and I drilled it, and then I put it simply into the thicker pieces of wood. I inletted it there, I drove it right in, I epoxied it, and to my knowledge, this gun is still shooting, the Mannlicher Schoenauer, and that stock is not split again. Okay, just something else to do with staples. And there it is, doing stock work with staples. This is Tom. Hey, have a great day and good shooting.